Welcome back to this series where we look at the definitions of ballet terminology from the RAD dictionary. As I've said before, I won't be going through every single word in the dictionary, just those that I feel are most useful. And today we're going to look at words starting with the letter E. Starting off with the word écarté. Now, écarté in French means separated or moved apart, and this is a position of the body where your alignment will face either corner downstage. Your working leg will be à la seconde, usually in a tendu, and then the arms will be in fourth. However, you could have your working leg upstage or downstage, and your arms will switch depending on whether it's an écarté devant or écarté derrière. So écarté devant will involve the foot dégagé à la seconde, facing downstage, and then you will lift the same arm as the working leg. This will be the raised arm. It will be slightly open and you'll be looking up to the hand. An écarté derrière, the body will pivot slightly, so we are now facing the other corner. The working leg is going away from the audience, so it's pointing upstage. And now we're going to look down towards the lower hand in second. And there is a slight inclination of the torso going away from the working leg. Next we have échappé. Échappé comes from the French verb to escape. And this could be an échappé sauté or it could be an échappé en relevé. But either way, our legs will start together and they will move apart. If we look first at an échappé relevé, we'll typically start in a closed position like fifth. We'll begin in a demi-plié. Both feet will slide away from each other, so let's do an échappé in second, for example. Both feet will move at the same time, at the same speed, and the same distance until we reach our second position on demi-point. An échappé sauté will start the same way, so a closed position, perhaps in fifth, but then instead of going on to a relevé, we will jump and land in a plié in our target position. So if we're doing an échappé to second, we will land with the feet in second position. If we did an échappé to fourth, we would land in fourth position. And if you were to do these échappés on point, it would be the same as an échappé relevé, but instead of finishing on demi-point, we would finish on point. And if it's an échappé sauté fermé, then you will close back to your original position. So for example, if we did an échappé sauté fermé to second, we would start from fifth, jump out to second position, and then close back again to fifth. So next we have effacé. This is also a fencing term and it means to take something side on so we have as little surface area as possible. So we are on a diagonal facing downstage and we are in an open position, also known as ouverte. So we'll typically have a dégagé with the working leg, and if this is effacé devant, we will have the working leg pointing downstage to the front of the body, and if it's effacé derrière, we'll have the working leg pointing upstage behind the body. It might be helpful to remember that effacé is the opposite to croisé. Croisé is where we cross the legs. If we want to have effacé devant, we will need an open position. So it will be the leg furthest away from the audience that points to the front. If it were the other leg, this would become croisé. Then if we have an effacé derrière, it needs to be the leg closest to the audience that points to the back. Again, if it were the back leg, this would become croisé. Next we have emboîté. So emboîté in French means to put together, and in ballet this will refer to a closed position of the feet either on demi-point or on full point. The working leg will start at the back, it will pass briefly to the side before it comes forwards, and then what was our supporting leg becomes our working leg, so we continue to alternate, passing briefly to the side and finishing in a closed position. If you do this movement taking the working leg from the front to the back, this has a different name, and if you watched our D-letter words you'll know what it's called. It is a déboîté. Then we have emboîté en tournant. en tournant means turning, and this can be an emboîté relevé en tournant or an emboîté sauté en tournant. So let's look at our relevé because it's most similar to what we just talked about, but on either demi-point or on full point. An emboîté en tournant will involve bringing the back leg to the front, closing fifth, and then we perform a half turn with the new back leg closing front. So essentially this is a series of half turns, alternating legs, always bringing the back leg front. An emboîté sauté is very similar, but instead of going into a relevé, we jump. So we're bringing the back leg front as we jump and a half turn, and then the new back leg, we jump and perform a half turn. Typically, an emboîté en tournant, whether it's relevé or sauté, will have the arms in third position and they will alternate with the legs. There are a lot of words in ballet that will begin with the word en, and this just indicates that there is a direction involved. So you might have en avant, traveling forwards, en arrière, traveling backwards, en tournant, turning. So as you might have seen previously, for example, en avant, I've categorized this under A letter words. En dedans or en dehors, I've put under our D letter words. An enchaînement just means a dance phrase or a combination of steps. So it's a sequence of dance steps that typically your teacher will put together in a class. Entrechat refers to a jump where we beat the legs. In French, entrechat means interweaving or braiding. And so you might have lots of different types of entrechats. And an entrechat will usually be followed by a number, and it will be in French. So an entrechat quatre means 4. There will be 4 actions to this particular beat. And because it's 4, it also means that you will start on 2 legs and finish on 2 legs. So in Entrechat quatre, we would start in a closed position, we'll jump up, the legs will open, 1, change, 2, open, 3, change, 4. However, an Entrechat cinq meaning 5, means that there will be 5 actions to the legs, and we will start on 2 legs and finish on 1. We will open 1, change 2, open 3, change 4, land on 1 leg. The same would go for an Entrechat trois, start on 2 legs, finish on 1, 3 actions in total. And you might also have an Entrechat six, meaning 6 actions, beginning on 2 legs, finishing on 2 legs. Now let's take, for example, an Entrechat cinq, you finish on 1 leg. If this is devant, you'll finish with the working leg in cul de pied devant. If it's derrière, you'll finish with the working leg in cul de pied derrière. So the even numbered jumps will land on 2 feet and the odd numbered jumps will land on 1. However, it's worth noting that there is a version of an Entrechat trois that lands on 2 feet, and at French and some North American schools, this will be called a royale. However, a royale is not to be confused with a changement battu, where the legs squeeze together before they change. A royale still has the initial beat, but it lands on 2 legs instead of a cul de pied enfendu. Enveloppé is the opposite of développé. Enveloppé in French means to envelop. We are going to do the opposite of a développé, so the leg will start with the battement going away from your supporting leg. The knee will bend, we will draw the leg into a retiré, and then it will close as the working foot travels down the supporting leg. If it's a petit enveloppé, same as if it were a petit développé, this is going to be smaller, and instead of going to the knee, we go to the ankle. So we'd still start with an extension of the working leg coming off the floor. We would draw it in to the ankle and then trace a line back down. Épaulement means use of the shoulders. Your épaules are your shoulders in French. And so this just refers to a rotation of the torso, and then this will often be combined with use of the head as well. So we could either rotate our shoulders away from the audience or towards them, and then our head will move to complete the line. So a lovely use of épaulement is in our écarté position. If we were to keep the shoulders square, this would actually just be a dégagé, de côté with the arms in fourth, but it's the use of épaulement that turns it into an écarté. The shoulders tilt, we lift the eyeline, we have an extension of the torso on one side and a slight contraction on the other. Or if you remember from our A words, arabesque, épaulé, we are using our shoulders in our arabesque. So instead of quite a boxy position, we're going to extend and lengthen the line of our arabesque. So that concludes our E-letter words from the RAD dictionary. If there are any words that you didn't previously know, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.